Hi, welcome to part 2 of the Valley Road Maple Farm promotional tour that we were on. When we were at Valley Road Maple, we did it in 2 sections because one was just promoting the Maple Days coming up, and this one is just talking about how the maple syrup is done. There's going to be a couple of little clips from the first one just because it was fun and we were just having a blast there. But enjoy the video of part 2. It is so interesting and you will learn something. So enjoy. We are at Valley Road Maple Farm, and I believe we haven't seen Michelle yet, but that's, I believe, is the sugar house, and that's where we're going to get pancakes with Oscar's maple sausage. Anyways, shout out to Oscar, shout out to Valley Road Maple Farm. Let's go find Michelle. You ready? On our way to find Michelle, look at all those tapped.
There's the sap storage tank.
Where's the sap storage tank? Oh, look at that sap storage tank.
All the big lines running.
No, I don't see them, so I'm going to come this way. All the lines are running there. They have a golf cart. I want a golf cart. Okay, is he mic'd? No. We might need to mic him.
All of our sap is coming in from 2,900 trees. Some of the trees are about a mile away from here. We use a vacuum. The vacuum gets it in fast, and the faster you get in, the colder it stays. And that you want to get that cold and processed right away. The sap will come down into this canister, and this will fill up and pump automatically. And during the course of the day, you might get 500 gallons. On a good day, we might get 2,500 gallons of sap coming in. So,
did you say 2,500 gallons in one day?
2,500 gallons of sap. Now that sap is coming in at about 2% sugar. And to get it to the table, it's got to be 66.7% sugar. And so you've got a lot of water to take out of it. So this sap is coming in, it's going up into an outside tank, and from there we open a valve and it runs through a line and it goes to the reverse osmosis. And we put that sap through the reverse osmosis. The first pass through will take it up to about 8% sugar. So now you got a lot of water out. Then we have it going to a second tank upstairs. From that tank, we now put it through a second time, and it will be up to about 18 to 20% sugar at that point. Wow. So you've saved an awful lot of time. You're saving 80% of the time and the fuel on that. So, and the fuel's big. This is really green because it saves you so much in fuel, and the energy cost to run this is minuscule compared to the oil. Wow. So then that concentrated, super concentrated, is the third tank that's going to supply the evaporator out here. Well, now we can go out and we can take a look at this. That third tank, actually it's our second tank, it's supplying just through a simple float system. It's just, like the water jacket in the back of a toilet. As the water goes down, the sap goes down, it's drawing it from the tank up there. It's coming in this side, and if you look in the pan, you can see that there's deep channels in it. That's what they call a flue pan. There's flues in there. And the purpose of that is to give you more boiling surface. This pan's only 3 by 7 feet, so that's not a lot of surface. But if you stretched out the flues, you've really got over 22 feet of boiling surface. It's coming in this side in the channels out the end of a pipe here, and it works its way through this cut in the back, and now it's going down that side. So it's coming in at about 18%. By the time it exits the pan over there, it's close to 30% sugar on that side. Now, it's another float system over there that draws it into the flat bottom front pan. This is the syrup pan, and this is where your coloring starts to show up in here. It's coming in at 30%, and as it's working its way across, you see all of the sap has to cross the same hot surface. And so it's crisscross one end and then the opposite end. And it comes up to this chamber, and this is where the syrup is going to be the closest to syrup at that point. So we got 30%, 40, 50, 60%, and then, it's up to the point that we want. We have to watch this gauge. Each day it will start with just water, and we'll boil, and we'll find what the boiling point of water is. We'll set the gauge at whatever it is back to zero. Once we got boiling point, we'll set the gauge to zero. As we're boiling, this gauge will go around again to the 7, which is 7 degrees above the boiling point of water. And that's syrup. So 219 and 219 degrees. And then once we got that, we'll crack the valve a little bit, and we'll keep watching it, and we'll keep all the time we're doing this, we're dipping, we're putting it in, and we'll watch this hydrometer. And when this hydrometer is floating on 59 on a brick scale, that's syrup. And so we will open this up, we'll watch, we'll usually, with a good run, we're able to keep it right at 7, which is syrup. And we just open the valve, and we'll put a dipper on underneath here when we have to empty it. And that usually we don't shut it off until the end of the boil. And you may be drawing out, without the RO, we would make about 2 or 3 gallons in an hour's time. With this, you can make a lot more. You can do 10 or 12 gallons. Are you serious? So that's big.
That's huge. My question is, how many gallons of sap does it take to get?
Well, they say 40 to 1.
40 to 1.
At 2% sugar, it takes 43 gallons. During the first part of the season, the sap will come in a little weak, about 2%. After it warms up a week or so, you'll go up to maybe 2.5, 2.7. Trees that are along the meadow will be a lot higher than that. You can have some that are well over 3% because they've got big crowns, no competition, and so they've made up a lot of sugar. But for woods trees, 2.5 or 2.7 is pretty good sugar yield.
I'm briefly jumping in here. Did you hear that? Trees that are in meadows yield higher sugar, 3%, or maybe a little higher, versus trees in the woods because they aren't competing. So trees compete against each other for, the space, for higher content. That's crazy. I didn't know that. I didn't catch that during the interview, but now that I'm editing, I caught that. That's crazy.
So then we just keep filling this up bucket by bucket, and you can see the line of minerals that have coated on there. That is about 42 gallons right at that point there. So it may have started on one day, we got 30 gallons. The next day, we've got another 10 gallons to add to it. Once we're filled to that point, we're going to turn the burners on, and we're going to bring this back to a total boil, a big rolling boil. We again use the hydrometer, and we keep watching to make sure, because you may have this method of pulling it off, and with is kind of a guess. You're going to get close. You may be a little over, or you may be a little under. So we will keep checking once it's boiling, and when we see that it's on that 59, we know we've got syrup in the entire pan. Generally speaking, when we bring it back to a boil, because it continued steaming away, if you left it in the night with 30 gallons in there, you're going to have a little more steaming that goes on. We often have to add 2 or 3 gallons of sap back into it to bring it back to syrup. It's a little too thick. So once we got it calibrated, we've got what we want, we will take the filter press that's in the other room, and we'll bring it out here, and we'll connect it to that, and we'll put it through the filter press. It goes through a number of different chambers in there, and it goes in murky because there's a lot of minerals in that. You've concentrated not just the sugar, but the minerals that are in there.
So
And
interesting.
So you got to get those out. Actually, people love it when we give them some hot syrup that have the minerals and say, oh, that's good. I'd like to buy that. It's good when it's hot, but the next day, if you look at it, it'd be all like a sludge in the bottom of the very fine minerals there. So it goes to that filter press, it clears it out, and from the filter press, we actually have this connected to the filter press, and the filter press connected to one of those 40-gallon stainless steel drums right there. And it will fill that.
These are the drums right here.
Completely. And so that drum will be hot packed at over 190 degrees. And that's important. That makes sure that any bacteria that
just to see how much is in there, how big these drums are.
Through the air,
Adirondack Huz, if you can go over there.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's coming out of this.
This is the comparison of me versus how much one drum is.
And that cools it down a little bit. But by the time that barrel is filled to the top from the filter press, it's over 190 degrees, closer to 200 degrees. And you put the top on that at that point, and it's just like a canning jar. It will suction down once it's gone. You'll hear it. If you hear a bunk, it drops that down, and that's good. I mean, stainless steel and glass are the best way to keep syrup's flavor and color. And you could even have that set for a couple of years, open it up, and it would be fine.
Wait, really? Yeah. So glass or stainless steel will keep the syrup up to 2 years. Not once it's open though, right?
Once it's opened, you got to use it. And so in the summer, when we're canning these, we put our syrup in a cool room, and we'll open 3 barrels. We'll have one that's the light, one that's mid-season that's an amber, and the end of the season, which is a dark. And the dark and the amber are going to the stores. We usually put a selection of each in there. Or if somebody has a special request, we have places that request all dark. And the 3rd barrel, the light one, that is going into our maple cream, maple candy, maple roasted peanuts, maple brittle, and the granulated maple sugar. And so those 5 products are the high yield. You're getting more for your dollar for that. And so once it's opened, even in a cool room, in the summertime, you're going to need to have that barrel all canned up in something by within a week or 2, because you don't want it to set. And
so how long, once you have it bottled and ready for sale, and let's say so I buy a bottle of syrup, how long does that last once it's opened in a fridge?
It'll last a long time.
So it can last a long time?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I mean, you can keep it in a refrigerator for a year once it's open. The only thing that's going to happen is, especially if the syrup's a little thick, and each time you open it up, you're introducing a little air. And so your syrup is getting thicker, and you may end up at the end of the year having, what do they call that? Rock candy? It's the crystals in there. They'll be clear as.
I'm guilty of that, but I like those,
Oh.
and I like my syrup thick.
Do you bang it on the counter to break them up so you can shake those out? Those are.
Sometimes I'll put it in the microwave.
Oh, yeah.
And the microwave doesn't actually make it softer. It makes it harder.
Oh. Yeah.
But I do kind of like those. But no, I do like a thick syrup. So, and I do notice that some of my syrup, like the syrup I most recently bought, was thinner than the kinds that I usually get. Is that a difference in the farms? Because one was from Candy Mountain. I had got at a diner.
Okay.
Dix Avenue Diner. And the other one I got from you guys was from Oscar's. Go on! And, so it's like, and I don't remember which was which, but I just remember one was like thinner, but
We do, ours is a little thicker. We actually use the Vermont grade, which is a couple of points higher on the brick scale. And so ours is thick. We do have a number of people that remark about that. They come here and they say they like the little thicker syrup.
I'll tell you what, you heat that up, pour it on some of those, I don't want to name drop, but I think it's called New Hope or something pancake mix.
Oh, that's what we use here.
Is that what you use?
We do use that. Yes. I've got 72 5-pound bags coming Monday. So.
But I'm telling you, that thick maple syrup heated just a little bit on those that
oh,
bread
yes.
pancakes.
Yes.
Add some Oscar's bacon. Well, apparently I'm going to try it with sausage.
Yeah.
Add that with some bacon or sausage. I'm telling you, you can go into a diabetic coma. I'm such a happy one.
It is the best, isn't it? Yeah, we do use the New Hope Mills, and we use the Oscar's maple flavored sausages. And it is our maple that's in it. They buy the granulated in big bags, and that goes in, if they're going to glaze a ham or if they're making a sausage. Yes. So that's kind of what we do here. We'll hopefully fill 25 to 30 barrels. We're not a big operation like a lot that you see, but we've got a certain client base and we know how much we'll need, and we are looking forward to a good season this year because this was what I would call a more normal winter. It was cold. We got a fair amount of snow, and it's still cold now. This is the way that it.
Hey, 80K Nani here. So unfortunately, after that last word, the sound cut out for the interview. But what he essentially was saying that this year was a typical Adirondack winter. It was super cold, super frozen, lots of snow, which is good for the maple trees. However, the previous few years, it's been kind of warm. So it's been just different. But this year is the first year in a while that it has had become a typical winter. So with that being said, that was the end of the interview. We asked him a couple of questions. We did another interview, but that was in part 1. So we will probably hope to do a part 3. I'm hoping when we go, because we're going to go there on the Maple Days Crawls on March 21st, 22nd. Join us, the Sasquatch Chicas. Adirondack Queen will be there. She's not with us tonight. And then while we are there, I want to see the whole boiling process. So Michelle reached out to me today. It has started boiling. The canning is starting, so that's really cool. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it up there today, but we will be up there again for Maple Days Crawls. Well, they're there starting next weekend, March 14th, 15th, the 21st, 22nd, and then the last weekend of the month. So head on out there, support Valley Road Maple Syrup, or my goodness, Valley Road Maple Farm, and give them all the support you want. Enjoy some pancakes and sausage. Check around the grounds, see what they have. Leave the dogs in the car if you go in to get something to eat, though. So, all right. And you guys all have a great night. Have a great week. Can't wait to see you at Maple Days. Peace out. 80K Nutty out.